So now we will see the relation between various forces in the force vibration. So this is the phasor relation. So we will try to plot the phase diagram. So in order to plot the phase diagram, we have the equation for a simple force vibration, that is the equation of motion. So which is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx. This is equal to f0 sine omega t. Okay. So there are total 4 forces. So this is the inertia force. Then this is a damping force. This is a spring force. And this is the external force of excitation. Okay. So now in this equation, put the values of x, x dot, and x double dot in terms of omega. Okay. So we have the equation for x. This is equal to a sine omega t minus phi. So phi is basically a phase lag between the applied force and the displacement. Okay. Then here x dot we can find out by differentiating this equation with respect to time. So it will become a omega. So actually sine omega t minus phi will be cos omega t minus phi, and multiply by the differentiation of omega t, it is the omega. So we will get a omega cos omega t minus phi. Okay. Now this complete equation we will try to write in terms of sine function only. Okay. And therefore we can write this equation as a omega sine omega t minus phi plus pi by 2. Okay, that means if you add the 90-degree angle in the sine function, then we will reach to the cosine function. Okay, so basically cosine function is leading to sine function. Okay, and sine is the lagging function. So we have converted this cosine function in terms of sine function by adding the pi by 2 angle. So this is your x dot value. Just observe these values, x, x dot, and now we have the x double dot, that is acceleration. So you can differentiate this equation, or you try to differentiate this equation. So directly we will get the sine function. So it is a omega square. So it will be minus, because it is a cos, so it will become minus sine omega t minus phi. Okay. So now put these values of x, x dot, and x double dot in this equation. That is the equation of motion. Okay. So we will have the equation like this. So just I will take this term, or take all this term on the right hand side. So equation will be f0 sine omega t. So all this term will be negative on the right hand side. So it will become minus mx double dot minus cx dot minus kx. It is equal to 0. Now put the value of x double dot, x dot, and x. So equation is f0 sine omega t. Now this is minus mx double dot, and x dot is minus, so it will become plus here m a omega square sine omega t minus phi. Then minus cx dot, and we have the plus value of x dot, so it will remain negative. So this is c a omega sine omega t minus phi plus pi by 2, and minus k a sine omega t minus phi. Okay. So now you can draw the phasor diagram. Okay. So for the phasor diagram, you can observe here this omega t, it is the reference angle. Okay, so everywhere we have the omega t value. So with respect to omega t, some angles are leading, okay, and some angles are lagging, okay, and this negative sign, it will decide the direction of the vector for the corresponding force. So the first equation, we have the F0. So this is the external force and it is acting at angle omega t, okay. Second force, this is the inertia force, ma omega square. It is acting at angle omega t minus phi. Next is ca omega. This is the damping force. It is acting at angle omega t minus phi plus pi by 2. Okay. And last is the spring force, which is a Ka. So I will write all these forces one by one. So these are all maximum forces. So first we have the external force, which is a F0. In bracket, I will write its angle omega t. Okay. Then inertia, which is m a omega square. It is acting at angle omega t minus phi. Next is damping, ca omega, and its angle is omega t minus phi plus pi by 2. And last is the spring force, which is a Ka, and its angle is omega t minus phi. Okay. So Ka is negative, Ca omega is negative, and inertia is positive. So first two forces are positive. So phasor diagram, we should select one reference axis. So draw x and y axis as a reference axis. Now draw this first vector, which is at omega t. So this is the angle F0, it is the magnitude, and this will give the direction. So at omega t angle, so this angle is omega t. So draw the vector F0. Okay. The second vector, which is the inertia, ma omega square, omega t minus phi, and it is a positive. So this is your second vector, which is m a omega square, and its angle is, so this angle, this is omega t minus phi. That means angle between these two vectors, it is a phi. Okay. Then third vector, it is a damping. Its magnitude is Ca omega, and its angle is omega t minus phi plus pi by 2. That means in this angle, we have to add pi by 2. So this is omega t minus phi, that is the angle of this force. Just add pi by 2. Now here you can observe there is a negative sign. Okay, that means if it is a positive, we should take the vector in this direction. Okay, but as this is negative, just change the direction by 180 degree. So this is the direction of Ca omega, that is a damping force. Angle is pi by 2, but on the negative side. And third is the Ka, its angle is omega t minus phi. So this is omega t minus phi, ma omega square. This Ka, as it is negative, just change the direction by 180 degree. So this is the Ka. Okay. So this is the space diagram. It will just give the direction and the magnitude. Okay, so now we can convert this diagram into a polygon, because if you observe this equation, so this complete equation, it is equal to 0. Okay, that means this summation of all the forces in that phasor diagram, this summation is 0. That means the resultant value is 0. Okay, and you have studied the polygon law in your first year mechanics. Okay, if the resultant is 0 for a particular system, then if you draw the closed polygon, if you draw the polygon, then it must be a closed polygon. Okay, so similarly we will get the closed polygon here if you arrange these forces in a specific order. So we will try to draw these forces in a proper sequence so that we will get the closed polygon. So draw the first force, which is a F0. Take this as the origin. And from the origin at angle omega t, we don't know what is the exact value of F0. So this is the approximate vector for F0. Okay. And this angle, this is a omega t. After F0, draw the second vector, which is for the inertia force. So inertia force, so if you draw here reference line, then its angle with respect to x-axis, it is omega t minus phi. So this angle, it is for F0. Subtract phi angle, you will get the angle for inertia. So this is your inertia, ma omega square. So if you measure this angle with respect to x-axis, it must be omega t minus phi. So if you want, you can write here omega t minus phi, or this angle is phi. Okay. So after second vector, your third vector is Ca omega, and it is perpendicular to this vector. Okay. So draw the perpendicular directly. So this is Ca omega, and this is 90 degree. And again, the Ka vector is perpendicular to Ca omega. Okay. Because it is opposite to this Ma omega square. And this must be a closing side. That means from this point, so if you take the point O, A, B, C. So we should connect C directly to O. Okay. And at the same time, we should satisfy the condition of angle. Okay. So if you draw the vector which joins C to O like this. So this is a closing side. It must be perpendicular to the vector Ca omega. And this vector is nothing but the Ka. Okay. So this is the closed polygon. So this will give the phasor relation. And by observing this diagram, you can find out the what is the phase angle phi, exact relation. Okay. So I will write that relation. So in the derivation of x, we have already found out this equation. What is the x? Now what is our tan phi? So I will write directly the value. This is a Ca omega upon Ka minus Ma omega square. Okay. And if you rearrange this some terms in this equation, then you will directly get the value as 2 zeta omega n So this is 2 zeta omega upon omega n upon 1 minus omega upon omega n square. Okay. So omega upon omega n, this value, we take this as a frequency ratio. So we can write this equation as 2 zeta r upon 1 minus r square. Okay. So this is a tan phi. So phi is equal to, this is a tan inverse 2 zeta r upon 1 minus r square. So this is the phase lag or phase angle. So depending on this phase lag, we have the phasor relation with the frequency ratio. So how the phase angle is changing as we are increasing or decreasing the frequency. At the same time, we are increasing or decreasing the damping factor. Okay. So there is a phase frequency response curve. So for the phase frequency response curve, it is similar to the magnification factor versus frequency ratio. So here y-axis, it is taken as the phase angle, that is a phi. And the x-axis, it is the frequency ratio, which is omega upon omega n. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, so on the right side. It will start from this 0. For the phase angle, we have 0 degree. Then this is a 90 degree. And this is a 180 degree. Now, to plot a single curve, actually one curve, it will represent the one damping factor. So we will start from the 0 value. So our relation is phi, which is tan inverse 2 zeta r upon 1 minus r square. R means frequency ratio. Okay. So if you select the first graph, then your zeta will be 0. At zeta 0, so you can observe tan inverse 0, this total value will be 0. So it is a 0 only. Okay. So even if you change the frequency, that means if you plot the table for various values of the frequency ratio, this is phi and this is frequency ratio. Okay. You select the frequency 0, 0.1, 0.2, so on up to 1. Again, increase the frequency. Okay. For all these frequencies, your phase angle, it will remain same. So it is 0 only. Okay. Your second graph, you select the zeta value to be 0.1. Okay. Put the value zeta 0.1 and now increase the frequency. So find out the different values of phi by changing the frequency. So take first 0. So add 0. So as zeta is 0.1, so you will get some value. Sorry, as R0, so this will become 0. So all the graphs will start from this 0 value only. So 0.1, 0.2. So we'll get the different values. Okay. So when the frequency ratio is 1, for all the values of zeta, the phase angle, it will remain as a 90 degree. Okay. You change the value zeta 0.2, 0.3. You will observe same case when R is 1, phase angle is 90 degree. So just I will plot the graph for various values. So this is our reference value. Not reference, it is a frequency ratio 1, which is called as a resonant condition. and this is the intersection point for all the graphs. So just for zeta point 1, what is the nature of the graph? As we are increasing the value of r gradually, phi will change. At 1, it will become 90 degree. Suppose we are increasing the r value. So your first value will be 0. After that, you will get different values like this. Then there is a rapid increase as the frequency ratio approaches to 1. At 1, it will become 90 degree. Okay. And again, after 1, the phase angle, it will approach to 180 degree. So this is your first graph when zeta is 0.1. So this is 180 degree. Now, if you change the value of zeta as a 0.2, then this is the nature of the graph. So all the graph, they will approach to 180 degree for higher frequencies. Okay, so this is the phase angle versus frequency ratio graph. So from this graph, we can note down some important characteristics. So the first characteristic, at the condition of resonance, so at the resonance, that is omega upon omega n, this is equal to 1. The phase angle, it is 180, sorry, phase angle is 90 degree for all values of zeta. Okay. The second characteristic, phase angle varies from 0 at low frequency to 180 degree at high frequency. So phase angle is 0 degree at low frequency, and it approaches to 180 degree at higher frequency. Then third characteristic, for zeta is 0. So if zeta is 0, phase angle changes from 0 degree to 180 degree suddenly. Okay, so these characteristics, they are based on that phasor diagram. Okay, so if you want, you can find out the phasor diagram for these three cases. So you can refer the vibration book and try to draw these diagrams. So first is the for low frequency. So at the low frequency, this ratio omega upon omega n is a very less than 1. Okay. So as the frequency reduces, all the forces will reduce. Okay, because the damping force, inertia force, they are depending on these values, omega, ma omega square, ca omega. So these two forces will reduce. Okay, ka and f0, they will remain same. So for this first case, at the low frequency, try to draw the phasor diagram. Then second is resonance condition. Where omega upon omega n is equal to 1. So at this condition, you will observe a perfect rectangle. Okay, because all the forces, they will be at 90 degree. And the third condition is higher frequency, at very high frequency ratio. That means omega upon omega n is very greater than 1. Okay, so almost you will observe the phase angle as a 180 degree at very high frequencies. Okay. So for all these three cases, try to draw the phase diagram. The diagram will be approximate because we don't have the exact value for the forces. So just we will get the idea why we are getting such high frequency and high phase angle at high frequency, low phase angle at a low frequency, and the resonant condition. Okay, so this is all about the phase response curve. So in the next lecture, we will try to solve some of the examples on the simple force vibration, and then we will discuss a special case for the force vibration, which is called as a rotating unbalance. Okay, so rotating unbalance, this is used specifically to create the vibration in the vibratory conveyors. Okay, or most of the vibrating machines we use in the industries. So today we will stop here.